First Kings 2, 2 through 4 says, I'm going where everyone on earth must someday go. Take courage and be a man. Observe the requirements of the Lord your God and follow all his ways. Keep the decrees, commands, regulations, and laws written in the law of Moses, so that you will be successful in all you do and wherever you go. If you do this, then the Lord will keep the promise he made to me. He told me, if your descendants live as they should and follow me faithfully with all their heart and soul, one of them will always sit on the throne of Israel. And today, I'm just grateful for God's promises. I'm grateful for my family, my wife, my children. Just grateful for everything. In this particular verse, there's a few things that stood out for me. And so, there's always be one or two words which just is almost be like flashing and highlight to me that caused me to bookmark these when I read in my Bible app. But he said to, well, a few things. He started out by telling us that, we all gonna die one day, right? Like that's unavoidable. You'll be foolish to think that you can meet some other fate other than what God had already promised to you, which was that you won't be here for that long of a time. But he says in this, he says to take courage and be a man and observe the requirements of the Lord your God. And um, it takes courage sometimes for you to do the right thing. And I think that that's what he was attributing that particular verse to, because it's so easy for you to go astray and to follow persons who going along in the opposite direction from you, because it's sort of a safety net to move in numbers. When you move where the crowd move, you don't stand out. When you move and the crowd move, you don't have to be as afraid because you think that you always have company. You always think that you have backup. But in order for you to go in the unconventional direction, which usually is the good way, the right way to go, it takes a lot of courage, to be that different person. And that's why the author comes and he tells us that keep the decrees, commands, and regulations and laws written in the laws of Moses. And even though Jesus came back and he died, and he told us, that there's only one commandment you have to follow, which is to love God and love each other. And everything else really falls underneath that portfolio, right? But these same laws and commands is good for you to recite to each other. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. You know what I mean? Like, don't use the Lord's name in vain. And just following these laws, can take courage because you can be surrounded constantly with persons who don't really necessarily adhere to these things, you know? And also, when he says, wants you to continue to follow these promises, right? He said the Lord can keep his promises to you. And he said, if your descendants live as they should and follow me faithfully with all their heart and soul, one of them will always sit on the throne of Israel. And that is so important for you to be reminded that. Hold on one second. Sorry. Um, But sorry for that interruption, guys. But he said, if your descendants live as they should and follow me faithfully with all their heart and soul, one of them will always sit on the throne of Israel. And that's just what it is. You have to teach your descendants to live as you live. And the only way that you could do that is setting by an example. So thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to speak this morning. As you know, I'm out of town, so I like a few hours ahead, but I tried my best to get in here. And I'm Kerry, and I love each and every one of you, and I relinquish my mic.